A very good morning to all of you. This is Shafiq Ahmed, and you are all welcome to your favorite channel, Let's Learn Together. This is our third session of the chapter, The French Revolution. And in our previous tutorial, we have completed up to over here, this one, the process how a subsistence crisis happens. So let us recap in a quick way that first of all, due to bad harvest, the scarcity of grains occur, and due to this scarcity of grains, the price of the food items used to rise up. And we all know when there is a rise up in the prices, it means that there is more demand also. And in that case, the poorest would not be able to get that bread, that food items, because they are not having enough money to buy those breads at high prices. So what would happen? Two cases can be happen. Number one, food riots. Food riots means people will fight each other and try to snatch the food from each other, which can lead them to fight each other, hurt each other, and might be killing each other also, and which can lead them to this number increased number of deaths. And the second thing, that when the poor people would not be able to buy the food, what would happen? They will become weaker and weaker because they would not be able to have food. And in that case, a lot of diseases will be there inside them. All the diseases will catch those weaker bodies. And what would happen? The next, weaker bodies will catch diseases, and diseases will lead them to what? Increased number of deaths. So this was the common phenomena of France in that time during 1789 and the year before that also. So what happened next, we will have to carry on. That is the process of subsistence crisis. Let us move ahead. See, you can see the name of the topic is what? A growing middle class envisages. It means what? Middle class people now started to grow up and started thinking that we will have to end this different type of privileges which is going on in this country. So those growing middle class people, who were they, and what really they did, and how did they did? Let us continue. Let us see. See, peasants and workers both participated in the revolts. They all protested for what? For increasing the taxes, because the king wanted to increase the taxes so that he can fill the empty treasure. So the people, the peasants means the farmers, the laborers, the workers, they all revolted, even due to what? One more reason, because there was a scarcity of food also, that we have seen in our previous slide, that there was subsistence crisis. So peasants and workers, both of them together revolted, they protested, but it was not enough to change something. As we know that to change something, there must be a big protest, a bigger revolt. The biggest revolt must be there, and there was something lacking in them, because of which their protests failed and failed. What was the lacking in them? Was the means and the programs. Means there were not anyone among them who can guide them how to protest, how to make programs, how to plan, and how to carry out the measures to bring about a change in the social as well as economic order. So there was a lack of leader, there was a lack of ideas, there was a lack of literacy, lack of means and programs, to fight these increasing taxes and food scarcity of food also. So that was the reason, because there was no one to guide them to how to do protest or how to bring a change. So what was the need of the time? That they needed what? Some ideas, some leader who can guide them. Let us see who come up. This was left to those groups within the third state who had become prosperous. Now, these peasants and workers left this work for the people of the third group who were prosperous, means who were wealthy, who were having amount of money so that they can spend on, and even they leave it to those persons who were having education as well as new ideas. That was the thing lacking in them. That was the need of the time, that they need what? Money to fight. Even they need what? Education and new ideas. So the people were there in the third group, because the third state people, everyone was suffering from the taxes and even from the scarcity of food. So there were such people in the third group, in the third state. Those who were prosperous also, those who were wealthy, even they were having education and new ideas. So to bring changes, the work of bringing the changes, the work of removing the monarch system, or change the monarch ideas, or change the method of increasing of taxes, change the idea of increasing the taxes, was left to these people who were having wealth and who are having education and new ideas. So you might face this question in your exam. Explain the emergence. Emergence means coming out of the middle class in the 18th century. Then what you will have to write, or just consider and let us understand. See, many social groups appeared during the 18th century. Those social groups who come up with new ideas, who came up with money, who came up with education. Those social groups during this 18th century were known as middle class people. And these middle class people were from the third state. Even there were few people from the first and second state also. We will have a look at them also. First, let's have a look at the people who came up from the third state. Those who are having ideas, those who were having education and even wealth also. So these people were later came to be known as middle class people. And how they have earned that wealth? There is a source of earning their wealth. They earn their wealth through overseas trade, means they were involved in trading, and even they were manufacturing goods. I told you earlier that third state people were having big businessmen also, and even rich traders also were there, and even industrialist people were also there. So they earned a lot of money through trade, through manufacture of goods such as what? Woolen and silk textiles that were exported or bought by the richer members of the society. Means they were preparing, they were manufacturing the goods such as wooden and silk textiles products, and those products were bought by the richer members of the society, from all the members from all the society. Means first state people who were rich, second state people were, they were also rich people, and even there were many rich members of the society were lying in the third state also. So these people were buying this woolen and silk textiles. We cannot say that the poor people might be able to buy these woolen silk textiles products, and they were having hunger, they were filling up their day and hungrily. So they cannot afford like this. But the industrialists, the merchant, the traders of the third state, they earned a lot of money, a lot of amount of money by this trade and manufacture of goods. They were exporting it also to other country, and even their goods were bought by the richer members of the society. Even you can say lawyers and administrative officials of third state believed. Now that is more important over here. There is a twist over here. Lawyers and administrative officials of the third state, remember, of the third state, believe that no group in society should be privileged by birth. What they were believing? They were believing on the idea that no one should be given privilege by birth. Means if someone would be given privilege, then that privilege should be given according to person's social position, that it must depend upon his merit. Means if someone is really capable of getting some privilege, if someone deserve it, then only the privilege like exemption from taxes and other privileges should be given to those persons. Privileges should not be given by birth. What they were saying, that a person's social position, means whether a person would be given some special facilities or not, it should depend on his merits. Suppose let us take some examples. There might be few of your friends who are good in sports. Then those students, three or four from each class or two from each class, might be very good, and might be helping the school also to get name and fame in the society. So those type of students who are very good in sports, who are doing something for the school and for the society, and who are helping school to get name and fame, then those type of students may be given some privileges or may be given some type of special facilities, such as exemption from fee. Means their tuition fee must might be waived off. They might not have to pay tuition fee because they are doing something good for the school. So there are also some students who are scoring 90 above 95%, 98%, almost 100% also. Then those students must be given or may be given some special facility like waiving of fees or medals or dictionaries or learning materials or even clothes or dresses from the school. Any facility might school might give them because they have done something. So they must deserve something. That was the thinking of the lawyers and administrative officials of the third state also. They were also saying the same thing, that if someone is to be given some special facility, then he or she, that person, must deserve it, must do something for the society. Then only such type of facilities may be given or must be given. And facilities should not be given by birth because they have been both in the first state and second state and they will not pay the taxes. This should not happen. That was the idea of the lawyers and administrative officials. Now let us move ahead. A society based on freedom, equal laws, and equal opportunities was visualized. Means these people, the lawyers, administrative officials, and the middle class people, those social groups who were coming up, in the new people. So these people were saying that a society should be made like that. It should be based on freedom. Means everyone should be free. Means freedom of speech, freedom of praise should be given to each and one, to each and everyone. Equal laws should be equal for each and everyone, and opportunities should also be given to all. That was visualized. They have seen these in their they visualize this one. Means what? They have seen in their mind, they make up their mind that they must make a society like this, where laws should be equal for all, where opportunities should be given to all, and there should be freedom of speech, praise, and more freedom. So they have visualized this thing. Who? These middle class people, lawyers, administrative officials, and those people who were prosperous, having education, ideas. They were thinking a society like this, that a society should be based on these three things: freedom, equal laws, and equal opportunities. So they cemented, they thought that they will make a society like this one only in future. So what they will have to do, they will do whatever they will have to do. They decided this one. Now they were helped also by some of the philosophers also. Philosophers are those people who are having some unique ideas, who thinks differently, at who thinks at from different angle at a particular thing. Suppose a case, suppose there is a case going on in the court. So the local people who are sitting in the court might be seeing that with different thinkings, but the lawyers who are there, the judge, they see the case, they hear the case with different thinkings because they are expert in those things. So philosophers are also such type of persons who think differently from other people. So we will also have to look at the role of few of the philosophers who were very famous in those time and who helped them in revolution and who helped these middle class people to bring changes. The philosophers presented the idea of this. See, you can see from here, they presented, the philosophers presented the idea based on freedom, the ideas based on equal laws and opportunities that we were discussing earlier. So one of the very famous philosopher was John Locke, who has written one book named as Two Treatises of Government. He has written that book, this philosopher, and what he said in that book, he tried to disprove the doctrine of divine and the absolute right of the monarch. What it means? He tried to prove wrong. What he tried to prove wrong? the policies of the king. He tried to prove the policies of the king, who were giving a lot of policies saying that taxes will be paid only by the third estate, like these policies. He tried to disprove these few things. In your maths, what you have to do, you have to prove something. But John Locke tried to disprove that the policies of the king are not okay. No, the policies of the king are not correct. And he also tried that the absolute right of the monarch should not be there. Means the monarch, means the king, should not have the all the authorities. Means the monarch should take decision on the basis of the, or for the profit of the subjects, or for the profit of the people. It should not be only one who is having all the power. So John Locke tried to prove these two things. Number one, the policies of the king are wrong, and the all the rights should not be given to the monarch. He tried to disprove these two things. Another famous philosopher is Jean Jacques Rousseau. He has also written one book known as The Social Contract. So students, very careful. You will have to remember the name of the writer, name of the philosopher, and name of his book, and what was written in his book. So John Locke we have discussed. Now Jean-Jacques Rousseau, what he discussed in his book Social Contract. Very important, very good one also. He proved in his book that the government was the result of a social arrangement between the people on one hand and the ruler on the other. He proved that the government should be such like a arrangement. The government should be an arrangement between two different parties. Now, on one hand, there should be people, and on the other, there should be the ruler. Ruler as well as the people together arrange in a particular way, and then they should form the government. Means, according to him, also there might be monarch, but monarch should follow the people, and people should follow the monarch. So he tried to prove that. What he said in his next statement in the book, if the ruler didn't, or if the ruler didn't fulfill the contract or the agreement, the people had the right to withdraw their loyalty to him and bring down the government through revolt. See, very good statement. He said, if the ruler is not fulfilling his promises, if the ruler is not working for the welfare of the people, then such type of ruler should be bring down. Then such type of ruler should be removed through revolt, and people should withdraw their royal loyalty or respectfulness towards him. The people should have this right. If a government or if a ruler is not fulfilling or not working for the welfare of the people, then such a ruler should be removed, and people should not pay respect or homage to such a ruler. In the second statement he is saying in his book. And the third, what he proposed a form of government between people and their representative, where voting to be conducted by the assembly as a whole, where each member would have one vote. That was the main, you can say that was a very beautiful idea, very intelligent idea by the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. What he said, the government should be formed between the people and the representatives. Representatives such as we are having nowadays, MLA, MPs, what commissioners are there? They are our representatives. So what he said in that time, see, almost 150 years back, he said that government should be like between the people and their representatives, where voting would be conducted in the assembly. Voting system, he was talking about voting system, and where he was saying that each member of each state should have one vote, that we are enjoying nowadays in India also, that each one of us is having one vote, which is very very special for us, which is very very important. The only condition in India is what, that you should be 18 years of age or above, then you will have this precious thing in your hand, that you will have one vote. And what Jean-Jacques Rousseau is saying, that every member of each state should have one vote. That was the demand, or that was the proposal by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So what he proposed three things. He said government should be an arrangement between the people and the ruler. And the next, If the government is not working properly for the people, for the welfare of the people, then people should stop giving loyalty or respect to those ruler and bring down those government through revolt. And third, he said the people should form a government between people and their representative, where voting should be conducted, and each member should have one vote. These were the three ideas given by Jean-Jacques Rousseff. See, these ideas were lacking before, when these ideas were lacking before, when those peasants and the workers were revolting, and that was the need of the time. They were searching for this type of ideas, and later on these ideas were given these philosophers. Next, Charles Montesquieu. You will have to study this one also. This is also a very good idea. You can see what he has seen, what he has given the idea. Charles Montesquieu, a nobleman by birth. Nobleman means he was from the second estate. He became a lawyer, and even later on he became a judge. And he has also written one book. The name of the book was The Spirit of the Laws. And what he said in his book, very good idea, which we are also following in this country. He proposed a division of power. Power should not be lying on one hand only. That is Louis XVI. He said there should be a division of power within the government. Power should be divided. Not all the power should be lying on one person only. Power should be divided. And what he said, he should be divided that between the legislative, means the people who will make laws, and between the executive also, who will execute those laws, and the judiciary will punish those people who will not follow or obey the laws. So he said that power should be divided into three divisions. Number one, legislative, the people who are making laws; the executive, those who are implementing; and the judiciary, who will punish. So the division of power was proposed by Charles Montesquieu in his book, The Spirit of the Laws. Now we have gone through the ideas of three philosophers, and all the ideas of the three philosophers, uh, if we will go through the current situation of our country also, we are having one vote, everyone, and we used to bring down the government who are not working for the people by voting against them. And even we are having three divisions of power also: legislative, executive, and judiciary. So these ideas, just I am reminding you that these ideas, where these ideas have come from to our country also. Later on we will go through one statement also. Let us see what Charles Montesquieu said. The ideas of these philosophers were discussed intensively. These ideas, the ideas given in the books, the spirit laws, the social contract, and the two treatises of government, were discussed among people, even in salons. Salons means where people go to have a haircut, even coffee houses, and spread among the people through books and newspaper. These ideas were spread through books, spread through newspapers, and even people were discussing when wherever there is a group, like salons, or where they used to have a coffee houses also. So people were discussing these ideas, the ideas of these philosophers. Means people were waiting, aware of the new ideas, that what can they do, what should be done in their country. And one more thing you can see, these were frequently read aloud in group for the benefit of those who could not read and write. And people who were able to read and write, they used to read these ideas of the philosophers among the people who could not read and write. Means the literate people were helping the illiterate people to get these ideas of philosophers also. So means you can say these ideas were given and known by now each and every one of the people of France. Everyone was knowing of such ideas. Now, the outbreak of the revolution. Now the people were full of ideas. The philosophers were giving ideas. The middle class people, the lawyers, the professionals, the administrative officials, everyone was having these ideas that what should be done, what type of country they are planning for. Now there was a need of the spark to bring out the revolution, and that started from here. See, As we all know that Louis XVI wanted to increase taxes. For what? Because when he ascended the throne, the treasure was empty. So he decided to increase taxes from then. To meet what? To meet the expenses of the state. In France, of the old regime, the monarch did not have the power. See, very important point over here. According to the previous rule and regulation that was prevailing in France, according to old regime before 1789, the monarch was not having the power to impose taxes according to his will alone. This was the thing. Otherwise, the monarch, means Louis XVI, would have imposed these increased taxes on the people. But he was not having such power. He cannot increase the taxes on his own. This was the rule and regulation of that time. Then what he had to do to increase the taxes? He had to call a meeting of the Estates General, means all the state, the people of all the states should be called for a meeting, and then he would propose the proposal of increasing the taxes. So unfortunately, that was unfortunate for Louis XVI, that he had to call the meeting, and he called also. So let me first clear to you that what do you mean by this over here? States General. You know? The States General was a political body in which all the three states, people from all the three states used to send their representatives. This was going on at that time. So the state general, you can say, it might be like a parliament, you know, where the different representative of the each state will be sitting together for a meeting. So Louis XVI had to call the meeting to increase taxes. That was the rule and regulation of that time. So he that type of meeting to increase taxes or take some decision was last held on 1614, the year 1614. That was the last time when such a meeting had been called on. Means you can say almost 175 years back such a meeting was called by the then king, you know? But this meeting now had been called after 175 years, and it was called on 5th May 1789. And you just remember the date of the revolution, that was 14th July 1789, when people revolted and destroyed Bastille prison. 14th July. This is 1st May, 1 month earlier. The meeting was going on 5th May 1789. Louis XVI called together an assembly of the States General at Versailles. That palace which was there in Versailles, which was maintained, and a huge expenditure was going on for that palace. So he called the meeting of all the three states people to come there, send their representative on 5th May 1789, so that he can pass this proposal for new taxes. Now, very interesting now. The first and second state sent 300 representatives each, means 300 representative from first state people, that is from the clergy group, and 300 people from the second state, that is the noble group, means king as the ministers, or people who are having high rank, official ranks. So 600 people were from first and second state together. First 300 from first, 300 and from second. So they were all 300 each, were sitting in rows facing towards each other. 300 in one line and 300 and on the opposite line. And they were all facing each other. Now 600 are there. And while the 600 members of the third state also had sent 600 members, so that there may be equal number of representatives. First state 300, second state 300, third state they alone 600 members, who were just standing at the back. They were not allowed to sit. That was the situation. The members of the first and second state were sitting, while the members of the third state, 600 members, were standing at the back. Okay, let us see further what happened next. The third state was represented by its most prosperous and educated members. So third state people, means those 600 members were very prosperous, wealthy people were there, and they were educated members. They were having ideas. They were literal people. Now let's see what's happened next. Peasants, artisans, even women, they were not allowed to enter into the assembly. Means other people from the other state, they were not allowed. Peasants, farmers, laborers, artists, women, they were not allowed to enter into the assembly. However, their grievances, means their problems and demands were listed in 40,000 letters, 40,000 letters, which the representative have brought with them. So those 600 representatives about this brought these 40,000 letters with them. So they can read out these 40,000 letters in the assembly regarding the demands and the problems of the people. So those 40,000 letters, just imagine, were brought into the assembly by those 600 members of the third state. What happened next? Voting in the state general in the past had been conducted according to the principle that each state had one. Very interesting that in the past, how was the voting going on? That first state member will have one vote only. Means 300 members were there in the assembly from first state, but 300 members will have only one vote as a whole, and 300 members from the second state also would also have one vote as a whole. Means now two votes are there, and this was also levied on the third state also. Means those 600 representatives from the third state were also having just one vote. Now you all tell me, they wanted to increase the taxes, and the people of the third state were only the one who were paying the taxes. People of the first state and people of the second state were not paying taxes. So why they were be having any problem to increase the taxes? They will vote like that, yes, increase the taxes. We don't care. We don't have to pay the taxes. The people of the first and the second state were saying that we don't care. You want to increase the taxes, king, you please increase the taxes. But the third state people were not in a position to pay more taxes. This time Louis XVI was determined, was ready to follow the same rule that each state will have one vote. So what happened? The members of the third state demanded what they demanded, because they were having the idea of Rousseff, that each member should have one vote. The idea of the philosopher was in their mind, in the mind of the representative, and they said, they demanded, no, that each member would have one vote. Means 300 representative of first state will have 300 vote, 300 representative of second state will have 300 vote, and 600 we will have 600 vote. Then let us vote. Then what would happen? 300 and 300, those 600 people from first and second state, they would agree for the increase of taxes, and these 600 people from the third state would all disagree. When 600 voting for yes, 600 voting for no, means there would be no increase of taxes, because if they wanted to increase the taxes, then there should be one more vote, to win the election. So that was the demand of the third state, that they wanted that each member would have one vote. And hearing this, the king rejected this proposal, because he was knowing that in such a condition, in this proposal, he would not be able to increase the taxes. There would be a tie. So members of the third state walked out of the assembly and protested, and started this protest. On 5th May 1789, the protest started, because when the king rejected the proposal, members of the third state, those representatives, 600 representatives, went out of the assembly and started protesting. And on 20th June 1789, they assembled in the hall of indoor tennis court. You can see this indoor tennis court. I can let you see. It was a very big hall. So what they did, they all the 600 members and even all the other people of the third state, they assembled in the indoor tennis court, a place in the ground of Versailles, and they started taking oath. उन्होंने एक कसम लिया. They started taking oath, the people of the third estate, where they were standing, they assembled together in the indoor tennis court. They declared themselves a national assembly, means they changed the name of the assembly from a state general to national assembly, and they started swearing that we will not disperse until we draft a new constitution for France that would limit the powers of the monarch. They took this oath that we will form a new assembly known as national assembly, and they will swear, and they started swearing that they will not go from that indoor tennis court until and unless they will draft a new constitution which would limit the powers of the monarch. And that the leader, there were two leaders, Mirabeau and Abicius, who were leading them. We will have more discussion about this chapter in our next class. Please subscribe the channel, press the bell icon so that we can you get the next video also. Thank you all, dear my friends, my students. Thank you all for this time.